What's up everybody, it's Cammy through Valve, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about why I decided to stand some Mustang in the past and why I'm going to continue to keep doing it in the future. Alright, so basically just starting off with the primary reasons, I guess, why I decided to stand some Mustang. It's kind of, so basically this video is just going to be a ramble on how I feel about stancing Mustangs, obviously. And this has not like been thought out or anything, because like I'm just going to pretty much just go straight off. And that's why I do the hand motions and everything, because I kind of just go with the flow, whatever I'm talking about. That's why I make mistakes and everything. So let's just start out with the fact that I think is pretty obvious that it's different. I don't know, when I first got my Mustang, it was all about speed. It was all about delving into getting performance parts to the Mustang. And then as that kind of happened over about a year's span, you know, I really didn't get a lot out of the performance out of my 3-valve, just with the basic mods that I could afford at 17 years old. And then when I turned 18, I started going to a lot more car shows. And I'll never forget the first time when I went to because I live in Ohio, Dayton Cars and Coffee, and I saw this bagged, one of the newer S550s, and I was just like, whoa. I was like, that is so crazy. And it was like one of the first bagged Mustangs and stance Mustangs I ever seen in person before, and it like just blew my mind when I saw it, and it was just like, I just couldn't believe how like awesome it looked. So then it kind of went from performance parts to kind of exterior parts. And then once I got into the exterior parts, I was like, wow. And then I started following a lot more Mustangs that are like lowered and everything on Instagram and stuff. And I really got into that side of Mustangs, which is so weird because most people don't look at that aspect. They don't really, most, let's say Mustang purists, they're not going to like stance Mustangs, obviously. But I thought it was so crazy and different to chase something that wasn't the norm. You know what I mean? Every time everybody gets a Mustang, it's always the first bolt-ons that everyone makes videos to and everything. And I wasn't about that. I got over that hump and I was just like, what do I do now? You know what I mean? I can't dump, $4 grand into a turbo kit or, $6 grand for a supercharger kit. Like, I can't get power like I need to actually enjoy speed in the car. And I can't afford to upgrade at the moment. Well, last couple years and at the moment. So basically, I got into this just fad of just following all these Mustangs and everything. And then just the pure, I love the fitment, the wheels and everything. And they say that like bags, wheels isn't a build. I disagree. I think that it is, because if you knew how much money went into bags and the wheels that most people run on these cars, you would agree with me at least. I mean, it's not like the hand-built engines and stuff like that, but obviously I'm just stating my opinion. This isn't facts or anything. It's just me basically rambling on why I think that stance Mustangs are just awesome. Like, it's just something so different that you see normally on, JDM or tuner cars that you'll never see on Mustangs. I mean, how often would you ever, like, run into a stance Mustang? Like, go in the comments and tell me, like, how often would you find yourself finding, a static Mustang that's just, like, lip to the ground? How often would you see a Mustang air out at your local car show? Like, you just don't. I mean, at the bigger car shows, obviously that's something that's, Mustang week and everything like that, because, you're talking about people coming in from a large amount of areas, so there's people like, that have the same influence as me that want to be like, oh yes, this looks awesome on a Mustang, who cares about speed? So, I love speed, I love muscle, but I decided to stance it, and I don't regret it at all. I had a few flaws with the air ride system, obviously, but I was so obsessed with the fact of getting that car low that was what I went for. So obviously it's not on air anymore, and it's going to be static for when it is revealed, obviously with the new wrap and everything. And if you guys haven't seen my Instagram, the trunk is wrapped, so I'm super excited. So now it's going to be a static and wrapped build for Mustang week, and everything seems to be okay at the moment for time. I have a week or so before I head back down to college, which is in Myrtle Beach, so I have some time to get this wrapped done, and I'm pretty confident that I'm going to get it done actually in the next couple days. So be ready for that. But back to my main reasoning. I think I kind of nailed most of the parts. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. It's just like, you know, it's such a controversial thing because you always got people going like, oh, like, you know, and there's so many Instagrams I could name that get hate for being stance builds and stuff, and it's just, it's comical too at the same time, like watching all the hate from like just these Mustang guys that are just like, oh, you can't do that to a Mustang. I mean, you know, it's, they pay the car, they paid for it, or they're paying for it, so, you know, you can't tell them what to do. I mean, gosh damn, you can hate on it all you want, but I mean, in the end of the day, people like me, I love seeing that shit. Oh, gosh damn it, I cussed, and I cussed again. So, listen, I love it. I love stance. I'm so pumped up even just talking right now. I can't wait to get my car back on coilovers, and it's going to be super, super low for Mustang week. Now, I probably won't, you know, we'll talk about ride height and everything as everything goes on for the rest of the channel, but be on the lookout for everything, you know, etc., etc. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. I know this is a little bit shorter of a video, but I know I'm going to throw up some pictures of Mustangs that I love, me, my Mustang, stance and everything. And, you know, so this is just kind of a brief explanation. I get that question a lot, like, why? You know, why would you stance a Mustang? So, you know, there you go. That's my explanation for it. I love it. It's different. I love fitment. I love wheels. I love being different. So, there's that for you guys.